All righty, so like I said, we're using synthetic division to determine whether the numbers are zeros. All right, so they give you a -3, 2, and then a semicolon, and then we got f of x equals 2x to the third plus 3x squared minus 5x plus 12. All right, y'all, so let me pull my camera down a little. So they're wanting me to check if -3 is a zero of this polynomial and if 2 is a zero of that polynomial. So we got to do this twice and we'll get answers like yes and no on this one, okay? So let's see. Let me start with -3. That'll be my first C, -3. And then I'm going to write my coefficients. I got a 2, 3, -5, and a 12. Now remember, if a number is a zero, then my remainder has to be 0, okay? If I get any other number than 0, I got to put a no. All right, y'all, so here we go. We're going to bring our 2 down. And then we're going to multiply and add until we're done. So 2 times -3 is -6. 3 and -6 give you -3. -3 times -3 is a +9. -5 plus 9 is 4. And y'all look at that. 4 times -3 is -12, which gives me a 0 remainder. So that is a yes for that one. So then we check this 2. So we bring in the 2. Now we got the same numbers. 2, 3, -5, and 12. All right, draw my box. All right, y'all. So we're looking for a 0. Any other number will be a no. So bring the 2 down. 2 times 2 is 4. 3 plus 4 is 7. 7 times 2 is 14. -5 and 14 give us a 9. And y'all look here. 9 times 2 is 18. And y'all, when we add that, 12 and 18 give us 30. So this one would be no. So you just got to find the answer that says -3 is yes. And then you have to put its remainder of 0 for the reason. And then you'll have to say 2 is no because it had a remainder of 30. Okay. All righty, y'all. So moving on. Same thing here, using synthetic division. Determine whether the numbers are zeros. All right, this time they're giving me -1, 1. Then my polynomial is h of x equals x to the 4th plus 2x to the 3rd plus 2x squared minus 6x minus 7. All righty, so nothing's missing again. So when we start with this -1, my coefficients are a 1, 2, 2, -6, and a -7. So once again, I'm looking to see if there's zeros. So I'm looking for a zero remainder again, okay? All right, y'all, here we go. Bring the 1 down. 1 times -1 is -1. 2 minus 1 is 1. 1 times -1 is -1. 2 and -1, give me 1. All right, y'all, here we go. 1 times -1 is -1. All right, remember, we're adding like signs. So -6 and -1 will give us a -7. All right, y'all, -7 times -1 is a +7. So 0 remainder. So -1 is, yes, a 0 of that polynomial. All right, so now we got to check the +1. So I got the same number, 1, 2, 2, -6, -7. All right, y'all, let's see if this one is a 0 or not. So we're going to bring the 1 down. 1 times 1 is 1. 2 plus 1 is 3. 3 times 1 is 3. Then we add 2 and 3, we get 5. 5 times 1 is 5. All righty, y'all, -6 and 5, give me -1. And finally, that -1 times 1 is a -1. And y'all look at that, this gives me a remainder of what? A -8. So this one would definitely be a no. Y'all said data division ain't too bad. Just get used to that little pattern, bring them down, multiply, add, multiply, add. Just repeat that all the way until you're done, okay? So how about this one? Here's a fun one. Use synthetic division to determine whether a -3/2 is a 0. My function is f of x equals x to the 3rd plus 5/2 x squared plus 13/2 x plus 15/2. So if you love fractions, you're going to love this problem, okay? So I'm still checking to see if it's a 0. So my C is going to be the -3/2 this time. And let's write down our coefficients. We got a 1, a +5/2, a +13/2, and then a +15/2. So I'm going to leave a little bit more room on this one in case I get fractions. And then my remainder. But y'all, this ain't bad. Watch this. Bring that 1 down. 1 times -3/2 is a -3/2. So let's think what we get. All the adding and subtracting when you add and subtract fractions is done on the top, and you put it over that common denominator. So if you got 5/2 over here minus 3/2, The bottom will be a 2 at the moment. So we work on top. 5 minus 3 is 2 halves. But y'all, I'm going to simplify. 2 divided by 2 gives me a 1. So 5 halves minus 3 halves is 2 halves, which equals 1. All right, let's go. 1 times negative 3 halves is a negative 3 halves. So let's see what this gives me. 13 halves minus 3 halves. Remember, that's going to be over 2 at the moment. So let's do 13 minus 3 gives me 10 on top. But y'all, 10 divided by 2 will simplify to a 5. So I get a 5 right here. So let's figure out what 5 times a negative 3 halves is. So negative 3 halves times 5. And if you want to, put a 1 under that 5. Because when you multiply, top times top, bottom times bottom. So y'all look what I get. Negative 3 times 5 is a negative 15. 2 times 1 is 2. So 5 times negative 3 halves gives me a negative 15 halves. And y'all look at that. 15 halves positive, 15 halves negative, adds up to get me a 0. So this is a yes. Now, what makes this problem not as bad is all the denominators match. Okay, so y'all's will probably be 2s like mine. But your denominator will match, so you don't have to worry about adding unlike fractions on this one, okay? All righty, y'all, so I'm going to turn the page, and we're going to do some support problems. So these are support for 8.3. So, and then I'll explain this in a second. So I'm going to start out with a t to the third minus 9t squared plus 60t minus 17. We're going to divide that by t minus 5. Now, these problems will say find the quotient and remainder. So I'm going to find the quotient and the remainder. Okay, so first thing we got to do is figure out our C. When your C is in factor form like this, my C will always be the opposite sign than the factors. So if your factor is a negative 5, your C will be a positive 5. So remember, the C is always opposite signs than the factor. See, when we did it a while ago, finding function values and checking to see if numbers were zeros, they weren't in factor form. But we've been learning anytime we got factors, the actual zeros were opposite in sign than these factors, okay? So the C has to be positive 5. Now write out your coefficients. So I got a 1 for the t third, negative 9 for my t squared, 60 for my t, and then negative 17. Now remember, my remainder will be in this box. So we're going to do our synthetic division, and then I'll show you how to get the actual quotient and remainder that they're asking about, okay? So remember, first number comes down. 1 times 5 is 5. Add negative 9 and 5, you get a negative 4. Negative 4 times 5 gives me a negative 20. All righty. 60 minus that 20 gives me 40. 40 times 5 is 200. And if I take that 200, subtract 17, I'm left with 183. Now, these first three numbers here, these are the coefficients of the quotient. And here's another thing. The quotient starts 1 degree less than the original. So what that means, my original degree was a 3 on my original polynomial. So this is telling me that my quotient here is going to start 1 degree less. So if that's a T3, that means this is my T squared spot. The -4 will be where my T is. And then the -40 will be the number at the end. So y'all, here we go. This means I got 1 T squared. So 1 T squared minus 4T. So I'm just going in order now, starting with my highest exponent going down. And then at the end would be a positive 40 with a remainder of 183. Now, y'all, I probably wouldn't write it like this in MATLAB because that 1 T squared, I would just make that a T squared minus 4T plus 40, and then my remainder of 183. So let me see. I think I got that pulled up, my MATLAB. So let me save this one because I want to pull out the let me get the other page. I want to show you the 8.3 support. All right, so let me pull that screen up. So that should be this one now. So see how they're writing the answers? This one had W's, but notice R13 like I did the R183 and so on. So y'all, let's let me write this one down and we'll do this one real quick. So we got a W to the third minus 7W squared plus 36W minus 13. We're going to divide that by W minus 3. All right, so I'm going to share my pad so we can work this one out. So the first thing I would ask y'all, I
had a question.
Yeah, I hear you.
If it had a +3 at the end, would you switch it to -3?
So let me go to my page here. So you talking about this 3 in the second parentheses?
Yes, because I know you were talking about flipping them. I didn't know. So would you make it a -3?
Well, since this one's negative as a factor, your actual C will be a +3. So it's going to be whatever you get if you was to set this equal to 0, remember?
Okay.
So the one I had up here, my T minus 5, I made that a +5. So this was a W minus 3, so I made that a +3. Now write your numbers. 1, -7, 36, and -13. All right, so my remainder will be over here. My quotient will be these numbers I get here. All righty, y'all, so here we go. Bring our 1 down. 1 times 3 is 3. -7 and a +3 give us a -4. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Oh, what's that? 36 minus 12 is what, a 24? 24 times 3 is 72. And then y'all, we got what, 72 minus 13. I think that's what, a 59. All right, remember, quotient's over here, remainder's over here, and this quotient will start 1 degree less. So that means this is a W2, my W, and then my number. So I got 1W squared minus 4W, and you just keep going down until you get to that number. Okay? So my three numbers, W squared minus 4W plus 24, and I had a remainder of my 59. So now one of those got to match us in math lab, hopefully. So let's see, we had a remainder of 59, and the only one that has a remainder of 59 would be C. And notice that's a 1, negative 4, 24, just like we needed. So we're going to check that answer. And we're going to do the next one here. And I wanted y'all to see these because these ones, they, so this one's pretty close to my first one. So let me write this down. So we got a 4C to the third plus a 15C squared plus 6C minus 17. And we're going to divide that by C plus 3. All right, y'all. So I'm going to go to my pad and see what we do here. So for this one, what will my C be?
Wouldn't it be negative 3?
It'll be a negative 3. Good job. Opposite from that factor, okay? All right, y'all, let's see. We got our C third, C squared, C, and our number. So nothing's missing. So we got a 4, 15, 6, and a negative 17. All righty. So here we go. We're bringing our 4 down. 4 times negative 3 is a negative 12. 15 minus 12 gives me 3. Right now, 3 times negative 3 is a negative 9. All right, y'all. 6 minus 9 gives us a negative 3. And finally, that negative 3 times negative 3 is 9. And y'all, let's see. It's going to be a negative answer. So what's 17 minus 9? That's what, an 8. So I get a negative 8. So 1 degree less means this one starts at a C squared, then my C, then my number. So y'all, I now have 4C squared plus 3C minus our 3, and our remainder is a negative 8. All right, so that's what happens when you're checking these. You're just praying these numbers are right. So 3 of them got a negative 8. So I've actually got to look at my numbers now. So I had a 4, a positive 3, and then a negative 3. So y'all, the only one that matches us would be C on that one. All right, y'all. So our last one for the support. Here we go. I've got a to the third minus 9a squared plus a 8, and we're dividing that by a minus 3. All right, y'all. So the first thing I want is my C. So let me take you to the page. All righty, so a to the third minus 9a to the squared plus 8. We're dividing that by a minus 3. So our C is what?
Positive 3.
positive 3. Now here's where you got to be careful. Look, I got an A3 term. I got an A squared term. I do not have my A term in here, but then I got my number. So my coefficient will be 1 for the A3, negative 9 for the A squared. Guess what I'm putting next? Remember, I do not have my A term in here.
0.
0.
A 0.
Hey.
Good job. And then bring down my 8. If you'll notice, whatever the highest exponent is, when you write the coefficients, you always got one more. So if that's a 3, you had 4 numbers. This was a 3, so I got to have 4 numbers, okay? All righty, y'all. So you're going to bring that 1 straight down again. All right, let's see. 1 times 3 is 3. Negative 9 and 3 is what? A negative 6. All right, negative 6 times 3 is negative 18. Plus 0 is a negative 18. All right, y'all, let's think about this. Negative 18 times 3 is a negative something. So I'm from Arkansas. We quit at 12 times 12 usually. So let's see. That'd be what? 30 and 24. So I think that's what? A negative 54. All right, so the answer is going to be negative something. So a negative 54 and a positive 8 give me what? A negative 46. All right, so remember, we start 1 degree less. So this is an A squared, an A, and then our number. So we got 1A squared minus 6A minus 18. And let me go look at the math lab real quick, because this one I think had the remainder wrote different. So do you see how they're writing the remainder as a fraction? Let me show you how they're getting that. So my remainder is a negative 46. So I would do negative 46 over, and you put the 46 over what you divided by, which will be the A minus 3. So sometimes they just have you write the remainder, and then sometimes they want you to write it as a fraction, okay? So remember, whatever you get for the remainder on this third one, put it over what you divided by. So y'all, I hope I'm getting something like that on Math Lab, so let's go see. So we had a remainder 46. And actually, they do a plus and then the minus 46. So either way would work over to A minus 3. But you can tell they all got A minus 3 on the bottom. So let's see what we had. We had an A squared minus 6A minus 18 plus our remainder, which was negative 46 over the A minus 3. So y'all, that's the trick on those. Doing a little synthetic division. And remember, support, we was only finding these quotients and remainders, okay? So on algebra, we used it to find function values and to determine if something was a 0 or not. All right, y'all, so we're to the point where, do y'all have any questions on this? I always liked this synthetic division. It was sort of fun to me because once you learn the pattern, zip, 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 you're through it, okay? So all you got tonight is your 8.2, the 3 support problems doing the quotient and remainder like I just did, and then the college algebra has 5 problems. Although some of them had 3 parts, remember? They had you find like 3 different function values and stuff, okay? So y'all, I'm looking, I'm not seeing many questions on here. Nothing on chat. So y'all want an easy day today, huh?
Last couple have been kind of easy.
Well, that's because y'all had that big test. So and we're at the point now, the first part of the class is more jumbled up than the last. So y'all have made it through the more congested stuff. So now I just like to sort of ease my way on through the last 3 weeks of this stuff. So what's today? So we're actually halfway through the class, y'all.
Today's the halfway mark.
Because what's
All
the
right.
review? So because remember, we got all of next week, and then that final week, we're done on that Thursday.
Must be the birthday look.
There you go.
Is our final the 25th or the 29th?
29th.
And is that going to be like the rest of the test, or is it a certain time, or?
So we're not officially able to open it, I think, until that Tuesday of that week. But I'll open it on that Tuesday. That way y'all have till midnight on that Thursday. Now, it's going to be over questions from the whole year, but it's multiple choice.
Yeah, I'm going to Dallas that week, so I'm still bringing my computer and doing school like through this class, but I just wanted to see if I could take it because I'm coming back the 29th, so I was going to see if I could take it like a day I'm still at the hotel rather than in the car.
When are you actually at the motel?
I'll be there if you post it like that Tuesday. The 29th is just when I'm going to be driving, so I was just asking if you were posting it early.
So the 28th or the 27th for you. Yeah, I'll try to see what I can do. Just remind me before you go on that trip, and I'll try to open it up by then, okay?
Okay, thank you.
But y'all, I get the best scores out of all my tests and the final. People do the best on the final because it's multiple choice, and you can work it, get one of them 4 answers, pick it, and be done, okay? To where when y'all are doing it on Math Lab now, the homework, you're putting in answers, and some of y'all, you get the answer right, but the way you put it in is wrong or something. So you won't have that issue on my final, okay?
That's what was happening to me.
Exactly.
So on the reviews,
Uh-huh.
I'm having a lot of issue. Like I'm still doing the first review from the first test and I can't seem to get a straight up 100% on it. And so do I have to in order for it to be completed or?
Oh, no. You can take any score on any assignment I got.
Okay.
I'll
I've been
tell you,
redoing all of them, until I get 100, just because like it won't stop showing up for me until I do completely, like master it.
oh,
I
it'll
guess.
show up in there, but yeah, if you're whatever score you're happy with, move on.
Yeah, I'm about done with that first test review, and I'm just like, how in the world did I do better on the actual test than I did the review? Because I can't seem to get over an 88% on this review, and I'm like, what is going on here?
Me personally, I would probably do the review until I made probably in the 80% or 90% range. And then I would try that test. Because you're always going to do better on the test, hopefully, than you do on those reviews.
Okay.
Now.
That's good to know.
Now, one thing, what you're doing, the higher you get all them other scores, the less damage I can do to y'all with the test. Because y'all sort of y'all control your homework and your quizzes, because you can do them as many times as you want till you get them hundreds. The test you only get one shot at, so that's why I really highly recommend doing that review till you feel comfortable, then trying those tests out, because
okay.
But yeah, Amy, if you don't want to keep doing that thing, if you're happy with whatever you got, move on, okay?
Okay. Bless you. Thank
Those
you.
reviews got like 20 questions each.
Yeah. Thank you.
All righty.
Yeah, Miss McConnell had it where we had to have 100 on all of our homework. So I think it's kind of become a habit for most of us. So.
Yeah, some of them do that because they want you to do good on the test. But I've seen people get 85s and 90s and make hundreds on my test because they can see what they're doing wrong.
That's what I'm saying.
So
Yeah.
I know some of the ones in college algebra that do like her, but they make you get like a 70 or 75. They're not
Yeah.
quite as strict on that 100.
Yeah, no, I like it that way though, because it's kind of like damage control. You know, if you like have all of your homeworks at 100, it
Yeah.
does help your grade if you
Yeah.
do, you know, flunk a test. So
Mhm. And then I
it's-
set them up to where you can, once you do a review, you can print it out and see what you're missing because it'll give you the correct answers and what you're doing to it.
right,
Okay.
right. I think that's probably why I'm doing so well in this class as opposed to my last one. My mom was like, "How did you not do well or as well in Miss McConnell's class, but you're like doing perfect in this one?" I'm like, "I don't know, but it's
Well,
got something to do with the teacher."
you had her for foundations,
Yeah,
and I ain't gonna lie, that little class, it's got so much material in it. Y'all do like 5 or 6 tests in it, plus the final.
yeah,
To where we only
Yeah.
got 4 tests in the final here. So they just push too much at you in that class, I think. And
yeah.
it's like you're learning a whole new concept every day almost. So
Yeah, it was a nightmare. But I think anytime I take math classes now, I'll probably do them like this because I feel like they're easier. But
yeah.
I don't think they'll let you do chemistry that way because you kind of have to be there. So
Oh no, chemistry does online labs and online classes.
do they really?
Yeah, it just depends whether you feel comfortable doing them online for chemistry.
I don't know about that.
Chemistry, I'm gonna have to go in person.
Yeah, for sure. The labs probably I would definitely want to go in person.
Yeah,
I don't see how they can do too much online with a chemistry lab, really.
that's
so.
what I was thinking. That's why I said that I wasn't sure. I wasn't sure, but I don't know
Right.
the math part. I think maybe I should do that from home because I don't know. I'm doing better that way.
Oh,
So
either way, depends on how good of notes your teachers do and if they got videos and all that for you.
yeah, I hope so because I think that's part of what's helping so much here.
Right.
So is there a reason I forgot to ask you? Is there a reason why you're like doing the whole notes thing from with us at home, but you don't do it on your on your regular semesters?
Oh, I do everything with my regular ones like I'm doing with y'all.
Oh, I didn't. I thought you said you didn't. Okay, cool then.
Mhm.
No,
As
I wish
long
they
as-
would all do it that way. You know,
as
like
long
it's
as they're webinars.
right.
But even in my regular classes, I'll upload all my videos into Blackboard so that if they did miss coming to class, they had something to look at and stuff. So
Right. Yeah, no, my last one was strict on that. It was like no notes. I'm just like, man.
so that's almost against everything they're teaching us at our campus. So that's weird.
I am so forgetful, and it's like it's only with my math thing, you know, like I'll get started and I'll be like, oh, this was easy. And then I'll just be like, I don't even know I don't even know where to start, you know? So it's always nice to have those notes that you get and you're able to look back and be like, okay, this is where I'm at and this is where I'm
Definitely.
going.
Yeah.
So
So y'all are making
definitely
it through the big, bad, scary college algebra, right?
oh, I know. It's exciting. It's awesome.
And y'all people, they stress so much on this class because they want to get their nursing degrees, but oh, I got to take college algebra. So
I'm not gonna lie, I did. I was like, y'all are not about to like I tried to find every loophole. I'm like, y'all are not gonna make me take college algebra. But they did. So
all righty, y'all. So I'm gonna quit my recording.